YouTube and welcome to a tutorial video on how to apply a polyurethane coating. In this video we are going to be covering all the necessary steps, tools, and techniques that you need to know or have in order to apply a polyurethane coating. All the required materials you can see in front of you. You need to have a polyurethane coat, some painter's tape, safety glasses you don't necessarily need. I wear them whenever I'm in a shop setting though. You also need latex or non-latex gloves. They must be disposable. A paintbrush, preferably one with a foam type material, as well as a painter's stick. In addition to that, you will most likely want an apron made of cloth to keep yourself from getting stained, and the project itself that you're going to cover. This project I made in my own woodshop class, not at home, but I didn't finish it. Before you start to apply polyurethane coating, you want to make sure that your wood is sanded, preferably to around the 300 range. This is only sanded to 220, but it's done well enough. And that your project is completed, absolutely totally completed, except for the polyurethane coat. To set up for putting on your polyurethane coat, you want to make sure that you have your project resting on preferably painter's blocks, just so long as it's off the ground. So you don't want any polyurethane coating to touch anything else. You want to make sure that it's all just in the air and open. Same thing over here with the lid to this. It's resting on two sticks, so the front of it is not touching the ground. You also want to have a newspaper or some sort of catching tray underneath your projects or project to limit your cleanup and to make sure that you don't have any random drops of polyurethane going everywhere. This is the polyurethane finish that I will be using in this video. It's a general finishes are seal, oil, and urethane top coat in gloss consistency. With most polyurethane finishes like this one, you don't want to shake it, okay? It deliberately tells you to stir it. So before you put on your coat, you want to make sure that you open the container and stir it. When you are applying your polyurethane coat, you want to make sure that your area is free of dust, that your workpiece is blowed off and there's no more sawdust, and there's also no dirt or other debris that can get lodged into your polyurethane coat, because it will look horrible. Okay, so we're ready to start. So we come over here, we open up our can. Now when we apply our polyurethane, and make sure that you stir after you have applied, or after you've opened, sorry. So when you apply your polyurethane, make sure that you do nice, gentle, even strokes, and you don't get bubbles. So, let's start applying this. See how it nicely brings out the color? Generally, you want to go with the grain so it soaks up. safety when doing this. You want to make sure that your area is well ventilated. The major problem with polyurethane is it gives off fumes, just like it does. And you'll end up breathing this fume and pass out, which would be highly avoided. Okay, YouTube, so I've finished the first layer of coating and it's still wet. So now what we need to do is clean up. So the first thing we're going to do, really, once you do a polyurethane, you have to leave it like it is. You can't move it, you can't disturb it. So I've picked a spot where I can just leave it for a day, because normally it takes about a day. The only cleanup we have to do here is seal up our paint can. That's it. So now I'm just going to leave this for 24 hours and come back. The next step we're going to do is sand it. Okay, so it's been 24 hours. All we're going to do now is sand down what we've already finished on the project, and then we're just going to refinish it like we did the first time. You have to make sure that you sand in between your layers of finish, because if you don't, the grain will just continue to be raised and raised and raised. And even if you did an excellent sanding job before you started to finish your project, the grain will be so raised at the end that it will be extremely rough, like you didn't sand it at all. So all we're going to do is take some sanding paper. This is 320 grit, and just lightly, very lightly sand and we're going to sand every surface that was finished. And as you can see, it's just It's extremely light. The only goal here is to take down the rough grain. And that's it. So you just continue that process for as many coats as you want until you get it to the correct consistency or the correct look, and you're done. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and favorite. And as always, post any comments or questions or suggestions for future videos in the comments section of this video. See you later.